What's going on, guys? In this video, I want to talk about prop firm risk management so you don't blow up your accounts. Now, first things that we need to do is we need to identify, are you a scalper? Are you a longer trader? And when I say longer trader, I mean, if you're trading the NASDAQ 100 and you're looking for more than 25 points, okay, let's call it that. If you're looking for more than 25 points, I would say you're a little bit of a bigger time frame trader. Maybe you're trading the 5-minute, the 15-minute, the 30-minute, 1-hour time frame. If you're a scalper, I'm going to say that you're trading for less than 10 points, right, of total take profit. And depending on, if you're a scalper or you're a day trader, right, let's just call it that for the better sake of the video, you need to kind of set up a plan that's going to be in line with you not blowing up an account in one day. Okay. So what I like to do is many firms, they've given you $2,500 worth of drawdown. Okay. $2,500 worth of drawdown is what we're looking at to start off. Now, your risk to start off is going to be relatively small because this number is relatively small. We are definitely not going to go putting on, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 micros, or we are definitely not going to be trading 1 mini. Okay. So what you need to automatically do is, based on your setup, based on what you normally are trading in terms of take profit, we need to figure this out to where you can take at least 2 trades in the day and not get blown up. Okay. And depending on how risky of a trader you are is going to depend on whether you're taking 2 trades or you're going all in on that first trade. What I like to do here is I like to take this initial balance and I like to divide that by 10. Okay. So if I divide that by 10, I'm going to get a $250 max pain per day. This is where you're going to absolutely have to follow this structure if you do not want to blow up in one day, if you do not want to blow up in 1 week. Okay. Even if you took 1 trade where you're risking, let's say 60 points on the NASDAQ and you're trading 2 micro contracts, you're going to be under your max pain for the day. Okay. You're going to be at a $200 loss, at a $240 loss. It's going to be at that particular time, whether you're going to decide I'm done for the day, or you're going to make that dreaded mistake, take another trade, potentially go on tilt and lose the account. So even with losing $200, let's say in the worst case scenario, 5 days in a row, okay, that's $250 on day 1, that's $250 on day 2, that's $500. $250 again makes it $750, $250 again makes it $1,000. Even in the worst potential case, let's say you lose 5 trades in a row between Monday and Friday. For whatever the reason is, you just can't get your shit together. You can't see the market correctly. You just keep making stupid mistakes. You're only going to be down $1,000. Okay. I've seen runs where traders go on 5, 10, 15 trade winning streaks, guys. So again, the key here is to not get overly upset when you lose a trade. Okay. When you lose a trade, we cannot get overly upset. So now that we've identified that we are going to divide, okay, we are going to divide our initial $2,500 of drawdown, okay, by 10, that's giving us $250 max pain per day. Now, I'm a little bit more aggressive when it comes to the risk. I'm probably going to be willing to give up this in 1 singular trade. If I lose trade number 1, right? So if I'm going to call it T1, if T1 loses, right, I'm done for the day. Okay. This means automatic lockout. Okay. There is no, I'm going to find one more setup. There is no, I'm going to battle back. There is no, well, I'm going to take 1 more trade and see if I can make at least half of this back. You are done for the day, my friends. If you cannot follow this simple plan, you are going to find it extremely difficult to make it in this business long term, especially with the prop firms. Again, we're not given that much risk. We have a ton of leverage because we can multiply, 10 accounts. We can multiply 20 accounts. We can multiply 5 accounts. We can multiply a small $100 winning day, right? $100 winning day times 10 accounts is $1,000, right? So if you have 10 accounts all linked up to each other, okay, if you have 10 accounts all linked up to each other, that's $1,000 day, guys. Just making a simple $100 winning trade, okay? It's not that hard to scrape off $100 in the NASDAQ 100, okay? It's not hard to scrape off $100 trading 2 micros. If you realistically think about it, okay, what you are looking for is about 25 points per day, okay, times 2 MNQ contracts, okay? 25 points a day times 2 is going to be your $100 day. Now, in the beginning, okay, this number needs to remain small. In the beginning, this number needs to remain small. And the reason why I say that is because we don't have that much drawdown to begin with. You need to put yourself on an actionable plan here where you're going to take a solid 2 to 3 weeks and continue to stack up these $100 days. You need to take 2 to 3 weeks where you're going to continue to lock yourself out at $250 losing of a day. Now, if you're a little bit more safe and you want to, maybe stack up some smaller days. Maybe you want to stack up some $40 to $80 days, okay? Maybe you want to take between 1 and 3 trades. I would recommend to trade 1 MNQ contract, okay? 1 MNQ contract, even on your best setup, with, let's say a technical stop loss. Even if you're going to run a wide stop, is 50 points away, you're only going to give up $100 on one singular trade, okay? And if you're a scalper and you're looking for 10 points, well, then you can obviously trade more contracts. If you're a scalper, let's kind of go over what I would do if I was a scalper, okay? If I was a scalper, what I'm going to do is I'm going to probably trade between 2 and 3 micros, okay, MNQs, and I'm going to look for 10 points, okay? So if I get 10 points across 2 or 3 micros, we're potentially talking about $20 per micro contract. So 20, 20, 20. We're looking at anywhere between a $40 and $60 trade because, again, slippage and we never get out right where we want to, between $40 and $60 trades, okay? Now, on the flip side, I'm not going to really want to risk 50 points, right? If I'm looking for 10 points, I might be in the ballpark of drawdown between 10 and 20 points. Again, this is going to give you the same amount of loss. You're going to be losing between 40 and let's call it, I would like to say 80, but realistically might be between 40 and $100. So your risk to reward ratio is running a little bit negative if you're closer to the 20-point stop loss. It's about a 1-to-1 if you're running the 10-point stop loss, okay? Or a 10-point take profit. So with that being said, in this particular case, even if you're scalping between 2 and 3 micro contracts and you take one loss at $40 or one loss at $80 or even one loss at $100, you're able to take between 3, maybe 3 to 4 trades in this ballpark. You're able to take, between 2, I would say 2.5 trades. Half trades would be maybe sizing down to 1 or 2 micros instead of the 3. 2 to 2.5 trades here at the $80 loss. Or if you're going to be a little bit more aggressive and kind of trade 3 micros, maybe you're going to be able to take 1 and 2 setups. Now, depending on whether this first initial trade wins or loses is going to be determined if you're going to trade 2 trades or maybe even get that potential 3rd trade in. Now, if you go on a 1, 2, 3 trade winning streak and you're a scalper, you need to lock out, okay? Because now you're talking about, let's say, $40 average on one trade, $50 average on another trade, and let's say another $40 average on another trade. Now you're talking about a potential, $125, $150 day, okay? So if we're going to average, taking 2 to 3 trades a day and we're going to be trading between 2 and 3 micros and we're scalping, we're going to be making between $100 and $130. That's going to be your target for the day. And in the beginning, guys, we need to focus on stacking these days up at least 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Okay, at least 2 to 3 weeks at a time, especially if you're in a fresh funded account. Now, as your balance continues to go up, Let's say, for example, you trade for 2 weeks and you make an additional $1,000. Okay, let's say you make $1,000 of total profit in the next 2 weeks. In that particular case, now your drawdown goes from 2,500 to 3,500. You divide that by 10, and now you're allowed $350 total max pain. Okay, so MP for max pain. This is total. Now, however you want to chop this up, whether you want to trade 3 or 4 micros and give yourself the entirety of that 350 drawdown per trade. Typically, I would only recommend that if you are a day trader where you're looking for 25 plus points, because the more points you're looking for, the more points you're going to need to allow the trade room to breathe. If you're a scalper, I would still stay in the same ballpark. I would just allow myself more setups throughout the day. Okay. So if typically we're risking, let's say between $80 and $100, right? If we're risking between $80 and $100 per scalp, now at a bare minimum, we're allowed at least 3 to 4 setups. Okay. At least 3 to 4 setups per day, assuming we have $3,500 worth of drawdown. Okay. And obviously, as the number continues to rise, you can continue to do one of two things: increase your contract size, okay, or increase the number of trades per day. Now, necessarily just because you go up $1,000 in profit, you go up $2,000 in profit, doesn't necessarily mean you need to keep increasing your contract size. You can definitely keep the bigger drawdown and you can take the same number of contracts, right? So let's say, for example, someone has made $2,000 in total profit, okay? Bringing your total drawdown of $4,500 total, right? Because remember, we're starting with $2,500 on most firms. Now you're allowed $450 max risk per trade. Even if I'm a 2 or 3 micro contract trader, in this particular case, if I'm a day trader and I'm giving up, let's say, 35, 45 points worth of risk, I'm essentially able to take now 2 or 3 trades and still stay under my daily max pain. If I'm a scalper and I'm giving up, let's say, $100 loss per trade, now I'm at least allowed 5 minimum trades per day. Okay. Now, when you talk about the profit side, taking more trades doesn't necessarily mean more profits. I would always try to keep your daily around the same. So for every $1,000 in profit, okay, for every $1,000 in profit that you make, I would keep your winning days consistent between $100 and $2,000, or $100 and $200 per thousand. Okay. If you've made $2,000 in profit, I would definitely try to keep your average winning day between 150 and 300 bucks. Okay. And I would try to live in this sweet spot, because the more this is profit over here, guys. So the more you live in this sweet spot here, the more consistent you're going to be. And to make $100 to $200, even trading 2 or 3 micro contracts, could be one trade. It could be 2 to 3 trades, guys. You don't need that many setups. You don't need to make that many points. Remember, for every 25-point winning trade that you take, times 1 contract is a $50 winner. Okay? It's a $50 winner. So if you're a 2-lot trader, you only need 1 trade, right? You only need 1 trade at 25 points to make $100. Does that make sense? Right? You only need 2 trades to make $200. Okay? And if you're a scalper, you might need 3 trades. You might need 4 trades. But again, if you're in a situation where you're in a fantastic trade, and let's say you're able to get to 20 points, get to 25 points, move your stop loss to break even, and actually capture 35, 45, 50-point trades, you might only need 1 trade to make $100. You might only need 1 trade to make $200. The main thing we want to focus on here is starting off with the $2,500 worth of drawdown. Whatever happens, cannot exceed more than $250 loss per day until we at least make $1,000 in profit. Okay, so until we make $1,000 in profit, we cannot exceed this magic number. This is going to allow you 10 days, okay, of full daily max loss before your account is blown. Okay. Now, if you're running a strategy that operates at a 0% win rate, then 100% you're going to blow up in 10 days. But I don't think anyone listening to this video has a strategy that operates at a 0% win rate. Okay. Even your day trader, your common day trader that's allowing, let's say 30, 40 points worth of drawdown, 50 points worth of drawdown, is going to operate at a win rate of, 50%, right? If you're a scalper and you're looking for 10 points, you're probably in the ballpark of 60, 65, 70%. What gets people off the rails and what like derails the whole situation of you ever getting a payout, derails the whole situation of you ever passing an evaluation, is this number, this original number here. A lot of times people will say, well, I'm only going to risk $100 today, $200 today. They get themselves into a sticky situation with too much contracts traded. And now they're down $150 and they're trying to battle back, right? When they try to battle back, they put on more size and they take a big $300 haircut. And now they're down $450 on the day. This makes things a lot more complicated, because once you start to go on emotional tilt and you get outside of your original plan, everything is as good as toast. It's completely shit at that point in time. You can take a $450 losing day, put on one or two minis, thinking you're going to get it back in 5 to 10 points, and it goes against you 15, 20 points, and next thing you know, your account is completely blown up. So how are you going to get yourself to stick to this original $250 max daily loss? First things first, we got to identify, are we a scalper, right? S for scalper. Are we a day trader? Okay. Are we looking for, less than 10 points, right? Are we looking for greater than 25 points per trade, right? That's the first thing we need to establish. Once we establish this, is going to determine how many contracts we're able to trade to keep us in line with this number here. I would recommend starting off between 1 and 3 total trades, TT for total trades, 1 and 3 total trades per day. That way it's going to keep us inside this number, and it's going to allow us to grow. It's going to allow us to see price action. It's going to allow us to come back tomorrow. It's going to allow us to stay in business longer than 1 or 2 days. How many times have you opened up a fresh account? You're so excited to trade it. You put on way too much size. That same account that you spend your hard-earned dollars on is gone in a single day. It's happened to me before. I'm sure it's happened to you guys as well. How many times have you been $500 away from getting a payout, $500 away from passing your first evaluation, and all of a sudden you think that you're going to go against your plan, put on a little bit more size, maybe you're going to hold a losing trade for just a little bit longer because you think it's coming back, and you lose the entire account, right? It's happened to me before. I'm sure it's happened to you guys before. That's what I'm trying to avoid here. We've got to absolutely stick to this $250 max daily loss. If we can do that, guys, we can start to accumulate, start to build up those profits. Remember, we can give ourselves more cushion by making $1,000 in profit, right? And we can give ourselves longer lifespan in our account if instead of increasing, right? Instead of increasing our $3,500 total drawdown, right? Our $3,500 total drawdown to $350 max risk per day, we actually keep it at $250, right? Because if we used $250 to start, right, max drawdown, and we were able to make $1,000 in profit, then why can't we keep the same $250 and make another $1,000, right? Now we've got $4,500 worth of drawdown. And if we keep this same attitude and the same mindset of, well, if I went from $2,500 drawdown to $35 to $45, all by risking $250 a day, whether that's per trade or per day, then why can't I take this to 5,500? Right? Again, you don't have to continue to scale up. You can keep the same drawdown. You can keep the same contract size. Sure, this might take you to go from 2,500, right? To go from 2,500 to 3,500 might take you 2 weeks, right? 2 weeks. This might take you, 3 to 4. This might take you 4 to 6 weeks. But the moral of the story and the beauty of the story is that even if it takes you 4 to 6 weeks to make $2,000-$3,000, if you're copy trading that times 10x and you take just one $1,000 payout, you've now made $10,000 in the next 4 to 6 weeks, all by keeping a risk to reward nice and tight, all by keeping your risk management at $250 a day, all by trading micros, all by taking 1 to 3 trades a day. Right? Hope you guys found some value in this video. If you want to trade with me and my community each and every single day live, make sure you guys check the link, right? So check the link in description, okay? If you guys want to, it's less than $1 a day when you break it down, right? Less than $1 a day. So with that being said, make sure to also hit the thumbs up button. Make sure to also smash the subscribe button, and I will see all of you guys on the next video.